Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. This is my post-market wrap-up. I mean, I almost don't know where to begin. All right, how about this? Stocks, well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ eked out slight gains, enough to put them in record territory. The S&P 500, not so much, but this market was all over the place today. A nice day to trade. I had a couple of nice trades, actually two, both of them successful, one on the long side, one on the short side. Okay. Now, what I want to do here is kind of cover a little bit of what we're being told. Let me put a perspective on that. We all know that knowledge is power. Knowledge, or truth, has been a closely guarded secret since time immemorial. And today, we got to watch a circus act, an actual circus act performed by the President of the United States. Now again, he is really not responsible for what he is saying. He is fed a script. He is told what to say. He has to distract you. Look here. Don't look here. It's the same story no matter who sits in the White House, no matter what person of power is talking, it's the same thing. Now, let's expose some of this. Seriously, I don't even know where to begin. The president explained that our economy is booming. He went on to say that the economy has exceeded our expectations. I don't know what he means by that, because we were promised, I know it sounds out there, but a 5% GDP. Well, our gross domestic product, GDP, is under 2%. Now, if you recall, President Trump, when he was not president in 2012, said a 1.9% GDP was an economy in trouble. But today, it's a booming economy that is exceeding our expectations. Now, understand, and I'm going to place a link in the description of this video because I do not want you to take my word for what I'm about to tell you. How many of you would be surprised to find out that there are less people today working, less people actually in the workforce than during the financial crisis? Well, that's the truth. There are less people working today than during the financial crisis. The labor force participation rate today is lower than during the meltdown. Now, in the description of this video is a link to, again, data that you're not supposed to know about, knowledge you're not supposed to see. Their own numbers, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, will demonstrate for you that despite the fact that our economy is in free fall and there are less people working today than during the meltdown, the narrative must be maintained. Our economy is not just booming, it's exceeded expectations, 1.9 GDP. President Trump thinks that's a good number, but Citizen Trump in 2012 said it was an economy in trouble. I want you to think about that as you ponder what we're going through here. Now, let's talk about the other distraction that almost made me fall out of my chair, and it probably made you do the same if you were watching the president speak. The president says that we are doing better with our debts and deficits. Now, anybody who has the slightest clue as to what's going on right now, understand that debts and deficits are ballooning. They are ballooning. I can't imagine why that was fed into the feed. You know, he was going from teleprompter to teleprompter. You saw his head, right? Teleprompter to teleprompter, just like Obama. Again, teleprompter to teleprompter. That was Obama's thing, and, you know, of course, he was fed a script. Same thing with President Trump. Teleprompter, teleprompter. How that made it in there, I have no idea. But it's a complete and absolute falsehood, and all you need, I mean, here's the deal with knowledge. Why is it that there's this hidden stream of knowledge that people aren't supposed to know. No one wants to find out. No one's got the guts to look it up for themselves. And when they find out the truth, despite irrefutable evidence, they will deny it anyway. So this is why knowledge, like we witnessed today, gets hidden from you. The president does not, actually the people that are feeding him the script, they do not want you to look at their own data, the labor force participation rate, the fact that less people are in the workforce than during the meltdown, the fact that debts and deficits are ballooning. And I mean ballooning. This is no secret. Every president must outspend the last guy just to sustain where we are. The debt must consistently and exponentially be added on your back. Just to keep the debt-based economic model afloat. So when the president says today, we're doing something or we're making progress, actually that was his words, we are making progress. Now, let's decipher that. So the president says we're making progress with debts and deficits. Does he mean you or me? Because debts and deficits are exploding. The main goal, the single goal of the Federal Reserve and every other world central bank is to expand the debt. So if that's the case, then they are certainly making progress. Every day that the Fed issues more debt, the stronger they become. Now, the president maybe had a little slip of the tongue, or maybe that script got into his teleprompter to say that we're making progress with debts and deficits means, yeah, they are. They're fulfilling their end goal, their final solution. Now, the president went on to say that, and he's calling again for negative rates. Now, how did we get negative rates? The Fed has to add digits to a screen in incredible amounts and buy debt, subsequently inflating the debt even worse than it is right now. And they are in full-blown QE. Not a word, not one word today from teleprompter to teleprompter from the teleprompter in chief right now. Nothing. Zero. And you shouldn't be surprised about that. Understand what we're talking about here. The President of the United States, no matter who it is a mouthpiece for the military-industrial complex. And negative rates will empower the banks and empower the Federal Reserve. The President wants the United States. The President of the United States wants America to follow banana republic nations down the rat hole of negative rates so the banks can prosper. Again, negative rates mean banks will be paid by the Fed to lend cash to you at exorbitant rates. How does that work? How does that help you? Again, you're not supposed to know this. This is hidden knowledge. This is stuff that anyone can look up, but they don't do it. It's the look here, don't look here. Oh, we're making better progress. Our economy is booming, and we've exceeded our expectations. 1.9 GDP, we were promised a 5. We all laughed about that. There was no way we were ever getting to a 5. Maybe we would have got to a 3. But no, we're sub 2. And according to Citizen Trump, 1.9 GDP is a economy in trouble, but not today. And again, the numbers that they have to lie to you, the U3 unemployment numbers, then when you look at the actual people in the workforce and contemplate the fact that we are lower today, less people working today than during the meltdown, that should tell you something. And the fact that we are getting calls for negative rates and massive debt expansion with no mention at all with regard to the full-blown quantitative easing that the Federal Reserve is involved in right now, propping up that debt market. Did you see Rick Santelli today? Not just him. If you watched Rick Santelli, the bond guy on CNBC, I feel very sorry for these people. Again, they're talking about an element of this market that is so distorted and twisted, and the Fed is running the entire yield curve right now. It's not real. But they're talking about what the 10 years doing, what the 2 years doing, what this is doing. It's a joke. Rick Santelli, sir, if you had an ounce of integrity, you would quit today. I'm sure you are very wealthy. Quit while you are ahead, Rick, because you're looking like a fool. You know the bond market is not real. Everybody who's talking about the bond market right now is trying to fist feed you fake news because the Fed is running the show, period. Anyway, going back to our economy here. So we're in free fall. Our president would not explain that there are large sectors of our economy, manufacturing just for one, and that's probably the biggest one right now, that is not just slowing down, but is in contraction. Our service sector, same thing. We are not making things. We're not exporting things. Henceforth, why transports are suffering. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Again, this is that hidden knowledge. You're not supposed to know. You're just supposed to take somebody's word for it, that our economy is booming. But none of this will be covered. Again, teleprompter to teleprompter will not allow the truth to come out. And even with irrefutable proof, there's the faction out there that won't believe it. So this is why the truth will always be elusive to people and be made available to those who have enough brain power or understanding to realize that we are in some kind of Wizard of Oz land. There's nothing real. This is an illusion. There's nothing different than watching a sitcom, than watching the president talk, than watching Larry Kudlow push the same narrative today. It's incredible. Be told that the U.S. consumer is strong. Meanwhile, 1 in 5 Americans are borrowing from their credit cards just to make ends meet. People aren't saving a dime. Nothing. They can't save any money. The consumer is in more debt than they have ever been. It's a pathetic situation, but again, the narrative will remain. The narrative will remain because you can't handle the truth. And our president will not tell you the truth. No president will tell you the truth. It's teleprompter to teleprompter. That's it. With that said, people, I don't know what else to say here. Please share the video, get it out there, and don't take Greg's word for it that there are less people working today than during the financial crisis. In the description of this video is a link to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, hidden knowledge you're not supposed to know, and you can bet your bottom dollar the president doesn't want you to look there, nor does he want you to share it. You're not supposed to know this stuff. Again, hidden knowledge, and again, it's hidden on purpose. I'll see you in the morning. Love all of you.